Your TFSA room resets on January 1st, but the smartest investors start their planning before year end. And if you're in Canada and serious about building wealth in 2025 and beyond, then this video is your year-end TFSA game plan. Let's talk about how much room you really have and how to find that unused contribution room. Let's discuss what to actually buy inside of your TFSA and discuss the penalties that cost Canadians millions of dollars every year, a lot of times with them not even knowing. TFSA is one of Canada's greatest wealth building tools, if you use it correctly. I am an investment advisor, but I am not your investment advisor, and this is not personalized advice, so please bear that in mind. But with that all being said, I am going to walk you through clear step-by-step TFSA strategy that you too can copy and adapt before the TFSA reset on January 1st. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how TFSA room works in 2025 and 2026, how to check your unused contribution room today, what kinds of ETFs actually make sense in a TFSA, the most common TFSA mistakes that people get hit with 1% per month penalties, and how to lock in a simple 2026 TFSA plan that runs on autopilot. So stay with me until the end, because I will also show you a 20-year strategy that I hope will help you rethink the way that you are currently thinking about tax-free savings accounts. So to start, let's talk about the TFSA reset on January 1st, because it's not like your current TFSA just goes away. What does happen is that your new annual amount will get added to your existing contribution amount. This would be any previous year's contribution room that you haven't used. As well, you're going to have any withdrawals that have been done over the last 12 months, specifically in 2025, get added back into your contribution room as well. So when we talk about a TFSA reset on January 1st, what we really mean is you get a fresh contribution room added on top of what we would have already had. Now, if you have already been maxed out, then that might be the $7,000 that they're giving us this year. But once again, a little bit of room for everybody. Now, let's talk some numbers. The 2025 TFSA allowed limit was $7,000, and going into 2026, the allowed amount will once again be $7,000. Now, what's kind of cool is that TFSA room accumulates, and it started accumulating as long as you are a Canadian resident and when you turned 18, going all the way back to 2009. So if you were born in 1991 or earlier and have been a Canadian resident since 2009, then you would have up to $102,000 in contribution room as of 2025. Because of the $7,000 that we're all being given January 1st, that will actually go up to $109,000. Now let's look at an example where, let's say you turned 18 in 2018. In 2018, you were given a $5,500 contribution room. From 2019 to 2022, we were given $6,000 each year. For 2023, it was $6,500. And then 2024, 2025, and 2026 is all $7,000, giving you a lifetime total on January 1st, 2026 of $57,000. Once again, assuming that you have never contributed to a tax-free savings account. Big disclosure, always check your personal room. These are just examples. Now, before you make any big moves, it's important that you know your real number. So to do this, I have a 3-step process that I recommend. So the issue is that the number that your TFSA contribution limit that the CRA provides you, as well as your actual number, can sometimes be different. And this is because the CRA's information often lags reality. Now, most institutions report their TFSA amounts at the end of each calendar year, and they're updated by the CRA, let's say by mid-February generally. So with this being said, if you were to log in to your My Account for Individuals, the CRA website, on January 1st or even January 5th, your number is probably not going to actually be accurate. So this is important to note. So this is why I recommend this process. So step 1, pull your own records. Log into every institution that you've ever had a TFSA. Export or note all of the TFSA contributions and withdrawals from 2009 to today, or since you started. Add up the total contributions and total withdrawals. Next, we're going to log into CRA My Account. Inside of My Account, you're going to go to the Savings and Pension Plans and then View TFSA Details. Look at the CRA's reported contribution room and then use their worksheet or calculator, but plug in your actual numbers. Lastly, you want to reconcile the two. If the CRA's room looks off, trust your own detailed records and talk to your TFSA provider to correct any reporting. The key is to avoid guessing. Guesswork is how people end up over-contributing and paying penalties. If you do this once, in only a year or two, everything should be updated and this is not going to be an issue. Admittedly, it is a pain at first, but it's also a pain dealing with an over-contribution, which probably wasn't your fault, but once again, the CRA doesn't really care and they're going to tax you or penalize you nonetheless, sadly. I will say, especially if you are led to believe that your CRA amount is accurate, that at a very minimum, verify your amount and then at least confirm any contributions that you have made to your tax-free account this year. So let's say you have a lump sum that you want to put into a tax-free. Let's say it's $60,000, and you log in to the CRA website and you see that you have $69,000 in contribution room. Great. Theoretically, that should not be an issue. But then you verify your transactions for the year, and it turns out you've actually put $20,000 already into tax-free savings account. If you were to go ahead with your $60,000 contribution, you would actually have an $11,000 over contribution. So this is why I mentioned this. Now that you know your room, let's plan actually what happens on January 1st. So the playbook. Decide how much of the 2026 room that you want to use immediately. Is it the full $7,000? Is it a smaller lump sum plus monthly contributions? Number 2, park the cash now. You could keep it in a high interest savings account or a short-term cash ETF or money market fund in December, so it's ready and not going to be subject to market volatility. Lastly, schedule the transfer. Set a calendar reminder or a pre-authorized contribution for early January so that you're invested as close to January 1st as possible. Remember, the earlier in the year that the money goes in, the more time that it has to be compound free. Now, what you don't want to do is randomly contribute throughout the year when you remember. That's how people underfund their TFSAs for years at a time. And once again, too, having that consistent approach is a good way to avoid market timing. So once the money is in your TFSA, what do you actually buy? It's important to remember that a TFSA is only a tax wrapper. Really, you can hold any of the same kind of products inside of a tax-free that you would hold inside of an RRSP or a non-registered investment account. This includes things like equity ETFs, bond ETFs, GICs, cash, mutual funds, and more. For long-term goals, most investors should use their TFSAs for growth assets. And this is because the tax-free compounding effect is actually very, very powerful, especially over the long term. Now, here are some ETF categories that often make sense to have within a TFSA. These are examples, not recommendations, and always do your own research and consult with an advisor to see what makes the most sense for you. We have all-in-one asset allocation ETFs, or mutual funds as well. These are great because they are well diversified. I always like to tell people this is that investment that you own that you never have to worry about it going to zero, unless the entire world all goes to crap at once. And in that world, money's not really much help anymore anyways. So you have that level of diversification, but there's going to be varying levels of risk dependent on what you're invested in. So conservative investments with a higher bond allocation, more growth investments with a higher stock allocation, for example. Broad market building blocks. These are, for example, Canadian ETFs or an international equity ETF or a bond ETF. So these are going to be very specific to a specific asset type, allowing you to be a little bit more personalized with how much you weight in each of these individual areas. Matching ETFs to your time horizon. So 0 to 3 years is generally not the place to get too speculative, just because a lot can happen in a very short amount of time and your investments don't have time to recover. 3 to 10 years is where we get a little bit more risk oriented, not wanting to take on too much excessive risk, because once again, if you were invested in a ton of tech-oriented stuff in 2000 and we saw the market crash, that took a long time for that to recover, and you don't want to be pre-retirement and in one of those situations. And lastly, for anybody looking at 10 plus years, this is a situation where you can go very, very growth focused. Obviously, you still need diversification, but the growth is a lot, you can be a little bit more flexible with what you hold. The principle behind this is simple. Use your TFSA for the most tax inefficient, most growth, high growth oriented investments that you have and that you can tolerate and that you're willing to invest in. Because this is not just a glorified savings account. This is a really powerful tool that you can utilize. If you ever search TFSA mistakes, you're likely going to see the same problems over and over. And this is exactly what you want to avoid. Mistake number 1. Over-contributing and getting hit with that nasty 1% per month. Now, if you put more into your TFSA than you have room for, the CRA charges you 1% tax per month on the highest excess amount. And this is for as long as it stays in the account. And even if that's only 1 day, they round up to 1 full month. So if you contribute $5,000, too much, $5,000 in excess for a total of 6 months, that works out to $300 in penalties. Some Canadians have collectively paid over $100 million in TFSA overcontribution penalties in a single year. So this is a major issue for a lot of people. Number 2, recontributing withdrawals in the same year. Once again, affecting your TFSA room. When you take money out of your TFSA, you do not suddenly have that TFSA room back. So let's say you had a fully maxed out TFSA room at the beginning of the year. You take out $20,000 and then think, well, I took $20,000 out, I can put that right back in. No. You get that TFSA room effective January 1st. So if you were to recontribute that money, once again, let's say it was in, we'll be optimistic and say it was in November, that's $20,000 or $200, both for November and for December, $400 in penalties for that one mistake. Mistake number 3, treating your TFSA like a checking account. A common pattern is, well, the bank encouraged me to open a TFSA, so I opened it. I transferred some of my savings into there, and then life happened, so I took the money out and put it into my bank account again. The problem is you're not getting any real growth. The banks like it, once again, they get an extra product out of it, but the small bump in interest that you get versus a regular savings account or even a checking account is negligible, unfortunately, especially in this low interest rate environment. So I'm not going to say don't put money into money market in your TFSA, but don't treat it like a checking account, please, for your sake. Mistake number 4 is day trading inside of your TFSA. So if you trade so frequently that the CRA considers your activity to be a business, then they can actually tax the income inside of your TFSA as business income, fully taxable. So the idea that you can day trade within a TFSA and not pay taxes is actually not how it works, unfortunately. Mistake number 5, TFSA as a US taxpayer. Now, here in Canada, the CRA does not care where you are from, at least in regards to you having a tax-free savings account. The only parameter is that you are 18 years old and that you are a Canadian resident, and preferably that you do not go outside of your contribution limits that we have been discussing. Now, unfortunately, the IRS does care, And if you are a US taxpayer and the IRS catches wind that you have a tax-free savings account, they may come after you because they do not view the TFSA as a viable tax shelter. So I've told this to many people living in a city that is fairly close to the border. Once again, give people the information and they will do with it what they want. So you have been warned. So what are some of the best uses that you can use a tax-free savings account for? Number one, a retirement top-up account. Historically, people have often looked at the RSP as the be-all end-all for retirement accounts, especially if you don't have a pension. But I think more and more the TFSA is showing its viability, especially for people that are saving that aren't in those higher income tax brackets that aren't seeing that benefit from an RSP. It also provides a non-taxable benefit for you in retirement and growth, which it will not be taxed either. So I think there's a lot of merits to that. Early retirement or sabbatical fund. I think that once again, this is a great way that you can withdraw money without it having affect your government income tested benefits. So for example, old age security has thresholds. If your income goes over a certain limit, and let's say all of your money was in RSPs and you want to go buy a new car, and you want to pay cash for it. Once again, a lot of parameters here. If you go and withdraw $50,000, $60,000 from your RSP, number one, the withholding tax will be through the charts. But number two, it will likely put you over your OAS clawback threshold, depending on your actual taxable income for the year. So the nice thing with the tax-free is that you can avoid all of this. It's not income. It's not income, any of the withdrawals. Good for down payments or big life goals. If we're looking 5+ years out, once again, as I alluded, you don't want to be taking on too much unnecessary risk over the short term because things don't always pan out the way we hope. But with that being said, if we're looking, you're saving additional money for a child's education, or you want to help your kids save for a house and they're 10 right now, it gives them lots of time to, once again, finish high school, maybe start post-secondary or start working, starts developing those adult skills before they jump in and buy a house. You have time is where I'm going with this. And an opportunity fund for future business or investments. This is a good spot to just have some tax-free growth. Once again, it doesn't have to be aggressively invested, but if you don't have a foreseeable use for it in the near future, why not take a little bit of risk with it? Circling back to that older idea I mentioned, the TFSA is one of Canada's greatest wealth building tools if you use it correctly. So a couple of things to think about before any year-end moves. Number one, should I top up my 2025 room before December 31st? And I think there's a lot of merits to that. Having your money in the market gives it more time to grow, once again ignoring potential market moves. But with that being said, if you think that you're going to need it next year, chances are you probably shouldn't be putting it in right now. Same with question 2. Should I withdraw before year end? And the short answer on that is yes. If you think that you are going to need it possibly in the new year, take it out before the year end so that you have that contribution room added back in prior to December 31st, or you'll have it added back in after January 1st, if that all makes sense. Really, don't be just moving money in and out of your TFSA randomly. Try to make moves a year in advance, or try to plan out at least a year in advance. So as I mentioned, we're all getting an extra $7,000 on January 1st, 2026. If you have the money sitting idle, great opportunity, contribute to your tax-free savings account and have it grow in there. Once again, assuming you don't need the money right away. With that being said, I realize not all of us can put $7,000 in on January 1st, so maybe take that $7,000, divide it by 12, that works out to $585 a month. Once again, that's still probably more than a lot of us can afford, so go with the amount that works for you. Furthermore, I told you about a 20-year growth projection, so I want to give that to you here. If we were to take $7,000 every single year for the next 20 years and put it into your tax-free savings account, that's a total of $140,000 that you've contributed. Bear in mind, $7,000 now, $7,000 even 20 years from now. So it's not like it's all growing all at once. If we can assume a growth rate of 5% per year on average, fairly modest, honestly, even a balanced portfolio can do better than that. most of them. That would turn into $230,000 over 20 years. Non-taxable, $90,000 in growth. And once again, $7,000 being contributed that last year. This is a very modest example, but it's nonetheless a compelling argument on why the TFSA is as powerful as a vehicle as it is. Nick from Nick's Investment Lab, please like, comment, subscribe, and tell us where you're at with your tax-free. Are we in a maxing out stage? Are we catching up? Or are we just getting started? Looking forward to catching up with you in the next one.